Well, hello there, people. So, it's the 24th of February, excusez-moi, and the weather is fantastic still, although apparently parts of Europe are getting snow now, and sometimes what happens is we sometimes get later on a more sort of diluted form of what they're getting, so I don't think this weather is going to continue, but whilst it's here, I'm going to enjoy it. So, what am I doing today? Well, today I'm thinking about melons, and I do a lot of thinking about melons actually, and today seemed a beautiful day to indeed think more about melons than what would be normal. And what I've got here is some excellent varieties. I'm not going to go into them too much. We've got Blacktail Mountain, we've got Sweet Granite, we've got Collective Farm Woman. Now that truly sounds intriguing. We've got Petit Granit, Edam's Gem, Five Desserts, and Blacktail Mountain. So yeah, got a real selection of melons here. Now I purchased these last year. I did intend to grow these last year, but it didn't happen due to various things going on, being busy with work, whatever. But the seeds are still here, and I'm confident the majority of them will germinate. So they're from a great source, the Real Seed Catalogue. I've spoke a lot about those before, and what I'll do is I'll link it down below so you can click on that. Some truly great stuff on there. You really do want to have a look at their website. I would suggest that to you anyway. So what approach am I going to take when growing these melons? So let me show you. Okay, so myself being a rather simplistic being, I like to keep things straightforward and simple. And what I've got here, I use these an awful lot, not an awful, it's not awful, that whatever. I use Windowsill propogators a lot for germinating things. You know, if you've been following me, I'm very fond of these. And what you do is you just get your, use that hand so you can see, you put them in like that, look. And what I'm going to proceed to do is fill these up with basic multi-purpose compost. Now, I made a little bit of a mistake on some melons that I set. You may remember I set a variety Prescott something whatever, a French variety, an heirloom variety, very, very beautiful melon when they produce apparently, and I used old compost. That's just, you know, do stupid things. People who, you know, we should know better as gardeners, but sometimes we forget things. And I used old compost, and some mites that were in the compost proceeded to then eat more or less the plants that germinated. So if you stay there, I'm going to go and get you one and I'll show you what happened. Okay, so here we are. Now, that's one that germinated. I mean, look at it. I'll just come behind so you can see what I'm doing. Seagull out there. Now look at that, someone's been eating that, and this was another one that got eaten. So basically, you know, I don't mind telling you guys about my mistakes, because as they say in gardening, there are no mistakes, just experiments. It's a bit of a way of, you know, making one feel a little bit better. But, you know, I make mistakes, everybody out there, you will too, if you know, continue gardening, whatever, and that's what happens. So yeah, so basically rule of thumb is don't use old compost, okay? Right, there we go, there's that one. So the plan is to try and nurse this through here. I can't find any more mites in there. I'd love this to, you know, just to repair. Obviously, not ideal for the plant, but what I'm probably going to do is order some more of these seeds, because I truly want to see, you know, I want to see what these look like, because it's very intriguing. So, anyway, let's get ready to set some more melon seeds. So turning the old camera here, so I'll show you my approach. Now you're looking at these, and what these are is these are bits from, they're cuts from milk bottles, yeah, so not plastic milk bottles, obviously not glass ones. And so what you do is you just simply go around there, pair of scissors, and then you've got perfect plant labels. You know, gardening on a budget, you know, you milk bottles, you should get orange juice bottles, don't you, like this? Any plastic really, you know, it's a way of recycling as well, because there's a lot of plastic, you know, in our oceans and and things like that. So, and then what you do is you proceed to make sure you use a permanent marker, okay? Because as you water them, you know, non-permanent will wash off far more easier. So you then write on it there what variety you're working with. Okay, so you see my windowsill propagator there. Look, I filled that up with basic multi-purpose compost. New bag, purchased a new bag of multi-purpose compost after the disaster of the mites living in it, which ate all my previous melon seeds. But not to worry, this is what gardening is about, learning from one's own errors. I mean, I really should have known better, but I didn't. And a new broom sweeps clean, you know, a clean slate starting again. So what we're going to do is set some melon seeds now as I get the old camera worked out here. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do. We're going to start with sweet granite. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grow 2 seeds, set 2 seeds, grow 2 plants of each. So that's your seed, look. Looks okay, don't it? So I'm going to put that in, like that. I'm going to lay them on their side, and I'm going to do 2 like that. Now, what I'm going to do, so that I remember what they are, I'm going to write on here, sweet granite. Okay. Push that in. Okay, so there we go. So that one's sweet granite. And what's next? The one that sounds right up my street here. Collective Farm Women. Okay, so there's my seeds from right to left. Sweet granite, Collective Farm Woman, Gris de Ron, Eden's Gem, 5 Desserts, and Blacktail Mountain. So different sorts of melons here. Watermelons, ribbed melons, round melons. Oval melons, early and sweet melons, excellent flavour melons, small melons with a netted skin, and juicy when ripe. So yeah, quite a variety here of melons. So the plan is to cover these up now. So I will show you my approach to covering these up. As you can imagine, because this is me involved, it's going to be a hugely technical process of covering the seeds up. Now, a word. When you water melon seeds, use tepid water, okay? Slightly warm. Obviously not boiling, don't get a kettle and pour it over them. But, you know, slightly warm. You don't want to be shocking the seeds, because you've got to remember that, you know, in particular things like watermelons, you know, they're not really a sort of UK climate crop, although the weather is changing, blah-de-blah. Just use slightly tepid water. In fact, when I water most of my seedlings, you know, I often leave, particularly, you know, whatever, I often leave the water in the polytunnel, in the watering can down here, and because, especially at the moment with the weather being this warm, you know, it warms up a bit. But when you're watering inside, you know, use a bit of, you know, tepid water. I would truly recommend that. Okay, just a quick note on microclimates. So you see on the sunny, warm windowsill here, I've got some leeks, got my coffee plant there, and broad beans. Now, I'm using the tops of the windowsill propagators here because, you know, additional way to sort of hold plants, if you will, to stop leakage, you know, going all over the place when one waters them. But I got them in here, and you can see, like, broad beans, leeks, you know, they're not too sort of heat dependent, so to speak, as melons are. But when I put my melon seeds in here, they're going to be put on top of here. But I'm going to have the top of the windowsill propagator on. But you can see this is, you know, a way of getting things to germinate nice and early with frost protection. You know, put them inside on a sunny windowsill. And you see I've got kale here, kale there, peppers, they've not yet germinated, and some rocket here, and some moneymaker tomatoes there. So this is a good way, you know, of getting a little bit ahead whilst not having to worry too much about frost damage. Now, make use of microclimates if you can. Okay, so I've got 8 cells left here. Now, I was given the other day some cucumber seeds, market more. Now, these are, you know, these are out of date, okay? I mean, I'll show you here. And there you go, look, so you can see packed year ending 2012, so by 2014. So obviously, you know, no guarantee that these are going to even germinate, but I'm going to put them in the rest of these eight cells, you know, as long as they don't look too rotten. But be an experiment, won't it, to see just, you know, how long seeds can potentially keep for. I mean, they look healthy enough, and they're kept nice and dry. Whoop, see there, look. So I'm going to put 8 of these in. 1, 2, 5, 6, 8. Right. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to put these in. And market more. These are a great cucumber. They truly are. If you want a low maintenance cucumber, which some of you might want, I truly recommend Market More as being a great variety. So you put that in there like that, look. And I'm just going to get a bit of the old potting compost. Now, it's Market More, they're like prickly cucumbers, and you just leave them outside, really. You don't need to cover them up. They don't need to be grown under glass in a greenhouse or polytunnel. You know, you just put them in the ground, once the plants are established at the right time of year, and you end up with masses of cucumbers. At least that's what's happened to me when I've grown them. So if you're looking at getting into cucumber growing, and you don't want to be messing around with tying up, and you just want simple, you know, low maintenance stuff, I would recommend Market More. And, you know, get them from lots of places. And I've also noticed that the bargain shops sometimes are now stocking these particular, not necessarily Mr. Fothergill's, but they're stocking other, you know, brands of Market More. So yeah, it's certainly a recommendation of mine there. Okay, so I'm going to put the top of my windowsill propagator on like that. So an intelligent person would have cut these a bit shorter so you didn't have to squash them in. But so yeah, this is going to go on the windowsill, unsurprisingly, and these should germinate, you know, within the next few weeks or so, all being well. The windowsill inside, yeah. Okay, so once these melons are, you know, germinated or whatever, I'm probably going to be putting them in this mini greenhouse stroke polytunnel, whatever you want to call it. Now, very happy about this, and I can grow them in containers in here. It's unlikely I'm going to put them in the ground here, because at the end of the day, this is, you know, it's part of the garden, so to speak. I don't really want another bed, you know, growing bed here permanently, so I can grow them in containers in here. I've grown, you know, watermelons in containers before. In fact, I looked the other day at one of my sort of top viewing videos, and it was how to grow container grown watermelons or support them or something, and you know, it's up to like well over 60,000 views. So obviously there is a demand for people that want to grow, you know, melons in containers. So I'm glad that videos have been of use. I'll link that down below. But yeah, so they're going to go in here, so it gets a fair degree of sun in this part of the garden. And you can see, you know, I'm just going to open it. So, you know, I mean, being in here now, it's, you know, I came in here the other day, but it wasn't such a warm day as it is today. You know, it really is, you know, nice and warm in here, and, you know, particularly with the weather being like it is, they're really going to appreciate, you know, being in here. But the main point, really, is if you've got a small garden or a small space, it's not necessarily as limiting as some people think when it comes to growing, you know, growing more exotic, or indeed growing anything. Because I think about this in here, and I think this cost me like £25, which, you know, for some people may be out of reach, and I do understand that. But you can pick them up second hand, and with a bit of ingenuity, you could probably find a way of making one yourself. But, you know, if you get one and look after it for a few years, chances are, you know, it will be with you for a few years, and it's very much worth it. So, oh look, tulips coming up. But yeah, so, yeah, going to go in here probably, maybe even in the polytunnel itself. Let's go back in the polytunnel. Okay, so that's the melon set. So what I'm going to do is see how they come on. I'm going to let the chips fall where they may, so to speak. So peach tree, it's not going to be long till that's out in blossom. Obviously the you know, prematurely warm weather is very much helping with that. I've got a load more seeds coming from the Real Seed catalogue. Once again, check them out. They really are worth looking into. And I'm going to be getting, you know, some squash seeds, some quite rarish looking squashes, and some older varieties, because what I'm working towards as much as possible is like a lot of long keeping vegetables or whatever. And, you know, some of these winter squashes, if kept correctly, can be stored well into the winter. So yes, quite excited. I've got all sorts growing away on the windowsill. You saw them the other day, so I won't go into those. But yeah, things are moving on here. And this warm weather, you know, it certainly is a catalyst to one's enthusiasm for growing, isn't it? So any questions you've got, as normal, please feel free to, you know, comment down below, ask me a question. I will respond, all being well. And, you know, if you like my work, once again, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. So see you next time.